In late 2025, Tesla surprised the EV industry once again, but this time not with a futuristic robot or a new battery breakthrough. Instead, it unveiled something far simpler, cheaper standard versions of its two best-selling models, the Model Y and Model 3. The move comes at a critical moment. After a decade of rapid expansion, the global electric vehicle market has begun to slow. Government incentives in the US and Europe are being scaled back, and buyers are increasingly cautious about paying premium prices for EVs as inflation remains high. Meanwhile, Chinese automakers like BYD and Geely, as well as Korean and Japanese brands such as Hyundai and Toyota, are flooding the market with lower-cost alternatives that offer impressive range and solid reliability. For Tesla, long seen as the aspirational tech-driven leader of the EV revolution, the challenge is clear: how to stay profitable while making its cars affordable to a broader audience. The result is the new Model Y Standard and Model 3 Standard, priced at around $39,990 and $36,990 respectively. Deliveries are expected to begin between December 2025 and January 2026. At first glance, these price tags may seem attractive, but many industry watchers quickly pointed out that the budget Tesla is still far from being truly cheap. To achieve these lower prices, Tesla trimmed several features. The standard variants come without auto steer, one of Tesla's hallmark semi-autonomous functions, offering only basic adaptive cruise control. The interior is more modest cloth seats instead of premium synthetic leather. Fewer speakers and simplified cabin lighting. Rear seat heating and some comfort options have been removed. Even the charging speed is slightly reduced, capped at about 225 kWh instead of the 250 kWh found on long-range trims. Still, Tesla promises that the core of the experience remains intact. The new models retain the company's intuitive software ecosystem, access to the supercharger network, and standard safety features such as automatic emergency braking and lane departure warnings. On paper, the Model Y Standard delivers an estimated 321 miles, 517 km of range, not far behind the long-range version's 357 miles. Performance is modestly toned down, but adequate for everyday driving. The focus is clear: practicality over performance. Reactions have been mixed. When Tesla announced the move, its stock dropped over 4% that day, reflecting investors' uncertainty about whether these cheaper models would boost sales or simply shrink profit margins. Some analysts argue that a $5,000 price cut may not be enough to reignite demand in a market increasingly dominated by sub-$30,000 EVs from Asia. Others see it as a strategic bridge, a way to prepare consumers for the long-rumored $25,000 Model 2, which could arrive in 2026. This raises a deeper question: is Tesla's decision a sign of compromise or a clever tactical pivot to maintain dominance in a slowing market? By simplifying its lineup, the company might be buying time to refine production costs, improve battery efficiency, and align its brand for a more price-sensitive future. In essence, the release of these standard models marks the beginning of a new chapter for Tesla, one that tests how far it can push affordability without losing the premium identity that made it iconic in the first place. The unveiling of Tesla's standard editions didn't happen in isolation. It reflects a deeper shift inside the company, one driven by data competition and financial necessity. Over the past year, reports from Reuters Electrek and Inside EVs have shown how Tesla's once explosive growth has plateaued. Global deliveries in Q3 2025 reached record numbers, yet profit margins continued to narrow, dropping below 18% for the first time since 2020. Analysts point to a structural problem: Tesla's lineup is aging. The Model 3 debuted in 2017, and while its design refreshes have modernized the exterior and interface, the overall platform remains largely unchanged. The Model Y, introduced in 2020, faces the same issue. Competitors are releasing brand new EVs every year, each with more aggressive pricing and regional incentives. Tesla, meanwhile, is constrained by its scale and by a promise Elon Musk made long ago to make sustainable transport accessible to everyone. According to Reuters, Oct 2025. Tesla's cost-cutting initiative began quietly early this year when suppliers were told to prepare for a new simplified configuration. That led to the standard versions now announced. The idea was not to create a completely new car, but rather to strip complexity from existing ones. Each removed component, whether it's auto-steer hardware, an extra speaker, or a premium seat heater, saves between $50 and $300 in parts and labor. Multiplied across hundreds of thousands of vehicles, the savings become substantial. A report by Inside EVs describes how the manufacturing lines at the Texas Gigafactory and Fremont have been adjusted to accommodate this standard stream. Cars will share most of their body panels, but their electronic architecture is simplified, fewer sensors, fewer ECUs, and slightly smaller battery packs. The change doesn't just cut costs, it speeds up production by about 12%, Tesla engineers said. From Electrek, we learned that the company is also leveraging its newer 4680 battery cells, though only partially. The Model Y standard uses a mix of 4680s and older 2170 cells, depending on the plant, a strategy designed to balance cost and capacity. This hybrid battery setup, while slightly heavier, allows Tesla to avoid delays while scaling full 4680 production. Meanwhile, Business Insider reports that Tesla's decision to remove autosteer isn't merely financial. There's a legal undertone with self-driving software facing regulatory scrutiny in the US and Europe. Tesla may be temporarily pulling back the feature from lower-tier models to minimize liability and standardize testing. Financial analysts view this as a pragmatic, if imperfect, approach. Tesla isn't losing its edge. It's recalibrating, says Sam Abuelsamid, a principal research analyst at Guidehouse Insights, quoted by Reuters. If they can move even 10% of hesitant buyers who were previously priced out, that could translate into hundreds of thousands of additional units annually. Still, critics warn of brand dilution. For over a decade, Tesla has sold aspiration as much as transportation, a lifestyle built on technology, autonomy, and performance. Stripping away those features risks making the cars feel ordinary. Inside EVs summarizes this sentiment bluntly. A Tesla without auto steer feels like an iPhone without Face ID, still functional but not magical. From a consumer perspective, however, the calculation might be different. Surveys cited by Cars Direct show that nearly 60% of potential buyers in the US prioritize price and range over advanced tech or luxury interior finishes. For that majority, the standard editions might strike the right balance, the Tesla ecosystem at a semi-affordable entry point. In essence, these new variants serve as both a financial cushion and a market probe. They help Tesla test elasticity, discovering how much customers are willing to sacrifice for a lower price. If the gamble pays off, it could inform how Tesla approaches its long-anticipated $25,000 EV, internally codenamed Redwood or Model 2. By simplifying production, Tesla also reduces exposure to the ongoing parts shortages and shipping bottlenecks that have plagued automakers since the pandemic. Fewer components mean fewer delays, an efficiency that Musk has repeatedly championed since the Model 3 production hell years. As Musk said during a recent internal meeting, quoted by Electrek, Complexity is the enemy of scaling. Every new part is a potential failure point. The fastest path to affordability is simplicity. This philosophy, embodied in the new Standard line, signals that Tesla is ready to trade a bit of glamour for volume, a necessary pivot in an increasingly crowded EV landscape. When Tesla announced the new Standard versions of the Model Y and Model 3, many observers immediately looked beyond the price tag. They wanted to know, how do these budget Teslas really compare with the current wave of affordable electric vehicles from Asia, names like BYD, Hyundai, and Toyota, that have been steadily eating into Tesla's global dominance? At first glance, the numbers look competitive, but not revolutionary. The Model 3 Standard starts at $36,990, while the Model Y Standard begins at $39,990, both slated for delivery between December 2025 and January 2026. Those figures shave about $5,000 off their long-range counterparts. In a market where pricing psychology plays a huge role, crossing the psychological line, below $40,000 is important, but it doesn't exactly redefine affordable. Consider the Hyundai Ioniq 5 SE Standard range starting at roughly $42,600 in the United States. It offers a clean, futuristic interior, a refined ride, and 800-volt architecture that allows ultra-fast charging. Its official EPA range of 245 miles is decent, but still well below what Tesla claims for its standard trims. The Toyota bZ4X XLE, another competitor in the same category, begins around $38,500, offering up to 252 miles of range in front-wheel drive form. Toyota plays to its strengths: reliability, conservative design, and strong dealer support. Yet its charging speeds lag behind both Tesla and Hyundai, and its technology feels more cautious than cutting edge. Across the Atlantic, the BYD Seal U demonstrates why Elon Musk's team is taking this fight seriously. Priced between £33,000 and £45,000 in the UK, roughly the equivalent of Tesla's new US pricing. It delivers about 425 kilometers, 264 miles of real-world range, and supports 140 kW DC fast charging. The Seal U uses BYD's in-house blade battery technology, praised for safety and efficiency, and it comes well-equipped with comfort features that would cost extra in Western EVs. When lined up side by side, Tesla's standard trims still stand out in one key metric range. The Model Y Standard is expected to achieve around 321 miles, 517 kilos on a single charge, and the Model 3 Standard isn't far behind. That's an advantage of roughly 60 to 70 miles compared with the Hyundai Ioniq 5 Standard or the Toyota bZ4X. For many buyers, that's the difference between needing to stop mid-journey or driving straight through. Then there's charging. Even with a slight reduction in peak speed down to 225 kW instead of the 250 kW used in higher trims, Tesla's network remains the most reliable and widespread in the world. The ability to simply plug in and charge without apps or membership cards is a major convenience. Hyundai's 800-volt platform is technically superior in speed, but it depends heavily on third-party stations that don't yet match Tesla's consistency. Toyota's system, though improved, still feels a generation behind. Feature-wise, the gap narrows. Tesla's standard versions are minimalist by design. Gone are auto-steer rear seat heating and certain interior flourishes. In their place is a focus on essentials, clean software, OTA updates, and core safety tech like automatic emergency braking and lane departure warnings. In contrast, Hyundai and Toyota give buyers more traditional creature comforts even in their entry models. BYD goes further, offering luxury touches such as heated seats, large infotainment screens, and high-end driver assist systems without dramatically raising prices. This highlights a subtle philosophical divide. Tesla is selling the ecosystem. Others are selling the experience. Buyers of the standard Model 3 or Model Y aren't just paying for hardware, they're buying into the Tesla world, the charging network, the over-the-air updates, the software-driven ownership model. Hyundai and Toyota, on the other hand, cater to those who still value the tactile elements, buttons, quiet cabins, and familiar dealer service. There's also the question of long-term cost. Hyundai and Toyota benefit from strong warranty programs and extensive dealer networks providing peace of mind for less tech-savvy buyers. Tesla counters with simplicity, fewer moving parts, no oil changes, no routine service intervals, and remote diagnostics. However, recent policy changes mean that Tesla's vehicles no longer automatically qualify for the full $1,500 U.S. federal EV tax credit unless leased, which softens the appeal of its lower base price. In markets where local incentives still apply, such as certain U.S. states or European subsidies, the calculus can flip. In New York, for example, state rebates could bring a Model 3 Standard effectively below $35,000. That price point begins to feel disruptive. So, who truly wins the value argument? On paper, Tesla's standards deliver the best range per dollar ratio in their class. For American buyers who prioritize long trips, reliable charging, and software-centric design, Tesla continues to hold the upper hand. Yet for those who seek refinement, physical comfort, or simply lower stress at the dealership, Hyundai's and Toyota's alternatives remain highly persuasive. Meanwhile, BD looms as the dark horse, a brand quietly setting global benchmarks for price efficiency and production scale. Ultimately, Tesla's new standard trims are not a race to the bottom, they're a controlled experiment in elasticity. By trimming features, but keeping the range and brand allure, Tesla is testing how much buyers are willing to compromise for cost. If the response is positive, it could lay the foundation for the long-awaited $25,000 Model 2, a car that might finally make Tesla's mission of mass electrification a reality. For now, the verdict is nuanced. The new Model Y and Model 3 Standard may not be the cheapest EVs in the world, but they remain among the most strategic proof that Tesla is learning how to compete not only with luxury and technology, but also with price. To understand Tesla's decision to launch the standard editions of the Model Y and Model 3, you have to look beyond the specifications sheet. This is not simply about cutting features to lower the price. It's a strategic recalibration that fits into Elon Musk's long-standing mission to make electric vehicles accessible to everyone while preserving Tesla's identity as a technology-driven brand. Over the past year, the company has been caught between two conflicting forces. On one side, investors want growth and high margins. On the other, the global EV market is demanding affordability. After years of prioritizing innovation and performance, Tesla is now taking a step back to reevaluate what value means in a maturing industry. Musk's answer to this problem can be summarized in one line. He's repeated often: complexity is the enemy of scaling. That philosophy now defines Tesla's playbook. Instead of pouring resources into new nameplates, Tesla is simplifying its existing lineup, trimming redundancy and refining manufacturing efficiency through the use of gigapress technology, structural battery packs, and partial adoption of 4680 cells. The result is a cleaner, faster, and cheaper production process. The new standard trims are the first tangible products of this internal simplification movement, not experimental prototypes, but mass-market iterations built on hard-won lessons from the past decade. The shift also reflects a temporary pause in Tesla's much-discussed Model 2 project, the rumored $25,000 EV that Musk once teased as the true democratization of electric mobility. Although the company hasn't officially canceled it, insiders quoted by Reuters suggest that engineering resources have been redirected toward the Robotaxi platform, a driverless variant designed to reshape ride-hailing. Musk hinted that both projects share a core architecture. The standard versions may serve as a proving ground for production methods and cost structures that will later underpin the Model 2 and Robotaxi fleets. Tesla's strategy is therefore layered. In the short term, the standard trims are meant to stimulate demand and keep production lines running efficiently amid a slower market. In the medium term, they act as a bridge to new vehicle architectures, giving Tesla real-world data on how customers respond to feature trade-offs and how far the company can push affordability without eroding its premium image. In the long term, this move strengthens Tesla's foundation for autonomous mobility and service-based revenue. The frontier Musk believes will eventually account for the majority of Tesla's value. From a brand perspective, this is a delicate balancing act. Tesla's mystique has always rested on performance and innovation, instant torque, cutting-edge software, and the sense that you're driving a piece of the future. The risk with the standard line is dilution, the fear that a cheaper Tesla might feel too ordinary. Yet in typical Musk fashion, Tesla is betting on software to preserve that magic. Even if hardware is reduced, the vehicles remain connected, upgradable, and compatible with new digital features via over-the-air updates. As Musk once said, every Tesla sold today can become a better car tomorrow. That promise, not the material trim, is what sustains loyalty among owners. Financially, the strategy is pragmatic. Each dollar saved per unit compounds across hundreds of thousands of cars. By focusing on shared components, streamlined supply chains, and vertically integrated manufacturing, Tesla keeps its gross margins above those of most competitors, even after price reductions. The standard models may yield smaller profits per car, but they expand the overall volume and preserve brand presence in a segment increasingly defined by BYD's aggressive pricing and Hyundai's broad EV portfolio. Internally, Tesla views the standard rollout as a test of operational discipline. The company's manufacturing philosophy now mirrors its software ethos. Iterate, measure, simplify, repeat. If the new trims can maintain quality while slashing production costs by 10 to 15%, it sets a precedent for all future projects from compact cars to self-driving fleets. And beyond the economics lies a narrative shift. For years, Tesla symbolized disruption from above, an elite brand pushing technology forward. With the standard editions, it is beginning to disrupt from below, challenging mass-market assumptions that EVs must be either cheap and dull or expensive and exciting. Musk wants to prove that an electric car can be both attainable and aspirational, bridging the gap between innovation and inclusivity. In that sense, the standard Model Y and Model 3 are not downgrades. They are experiments in scalability, a quiet but powerful signal that Tesla's next revolution won't necessarily come from a new model, but from how efficiently it can build the ones it already has. Tesla's release of the Model Y and Model 3 standard editions may look like a simple pricing exercise, but it represents something much more significant, a turning point in how the company positions itself for the next phase of the EV revolution. In 2025, the world no longer measures innovation only by horsepower or software updates. It measures it by accessibility. After nearly 2 decades of leading the charge toward electrification, Tesla is acknowledging that the next great frontier isn't luxury autonomy, it's mass adoption. The standard trims are Tesla's first real attempt to bridge the widening gap between aspiration and affordability. Whether this gamble succeeds, will depend on how customers and investors interpret the change. Some see it as a smart, proactive step, a way for Tesla to preempt competitors like BYD, Hyundai, and Toyota before they dominate the middle of the market. Others view it as a retreat from the company's high-tech identity, a sign that Tesla is being forced to compromise. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in between. From a practical standpoint, these new variants could do exactly what Tesla needs them to sustain: volume, stabilize margins, and keep factories running at optimal output until the next big leap. The long-awaited $25,000 Model 2, or the fully autonomous Robotaxi platform, is ready. The standard line allows Tesla to experiment with simplified manufacturing at scale, gathering invaluable feedback about what consumers truly value and what they can live without. From a market perspective, the move is also defensive. The EV boom has entered a maturity phase. Buyers are more price-sensitive and incentives are shrinking. Tesla's competitors are learning quickly. BYD's global expansion, Hyundai's fast-charging innovation, Toyota's reliability-driven comeback. To maintain leadership, Tesla must adapt not just as a manufacturer, but as a systems company, one that monetizes software, energy integration, and mobility services long after the initial sale. Financial analysts predict that this period of transition could define Tesla's trajectory for the next decade. If the standard trims succeed, they could unlock a new era of scalable profitability. Lower margins per car, but higher margins overall, powered by volume software subscriptions and recurring services. If they fail, Tesla risks being squeezed between ultra-cheap Chinese EVs and premium European models. Yet there's something uniquely Tesla about this experiment. Few companies could remove features, raise strategic questions, and still command global attention. Even when simplifying Tesla makes it feel like a revolution, the company's storytelling remains intact. Every new decision fits into a broader mission, accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. And that mission is evolving. In Elon Musk's own words, "We're not just building cars, we're building the economy of the future." That economy isn't about horsepower or chrome. It's about data, autonomy, and efficiency, the same logic that underpins both the standard trims and the coming wave of robotaxis. So, as Tesla steps into 2026, the questions practically write themselves. Will these stripped-down Teslas spark a new wave of adoption? Can the brand maintain its premium aura while scaling to millions more buyers? And most importantly, is affordability the new frontier of innovation? Whatever the answers, one thing is certain: Tesla isn't slowing down. It's simply shifting gears from breakthrough to balance, from spectacle to sustainability. And as always, this is just the beginning. What do you think? Are the new standard Teslas the right move or a step backward? Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Tesla Insights to stay ahead of every bold move Elon Musk makes on the road to the future.